Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy. On today's video, episode, whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna share with you some tips that I use myself when it comes to making new friends. As you're growing as a person, when you're getting older, you're changing, you're becoming a better version, you're going through a journey, you will lose some friends and you will make new friends. Let me turn that off. I made notes, that's why I have my phone right here. So I'm gonna share with you some tips that I've used, some things that I keep into consideration. Okay. Some things that I look for when it comes to making new friends, especially in your 30s, because you're at that age now where you should know better. You know, your 20s was, that's what everybody says, your 20s were for you to make mistakes and learn, and now you're 30, those mistakes that you've made, you're gonna take everything that you learn and apply it to your 30s, so that way you could be a better person. And if you want to have a family, if you don't have a family yet and you want to have a family, you could have a healthier family, a healthier life, and have healthier communication skills, and build healthier relationships with your friends, family, whatever. So yeah, but first let me just tell you, I'm very shy. I am very, very, very shy, unfortunately. I'm not the type of person to approach people first, but if you come to me, I will have a conversation with you, we will talk, but I am just very, very shy. So it is very hard for me to make new friends. Also, I am just, I feel like maybe I have a hard time trusting people. I really do. I do have a hard time trusting people. I don't really like to meet new people. Let me tell you why. It's not like I don't like people, just that because I feel like, okay, here's the thing. I just want you to understand where I'm coming from, why I say what I say. Like for me right now, I moved to Dallas, right? I live in Boston, in Maryland. Here, like people have tried to be friends with me, and but I've been a little bit resistant. And then to why, like I was having this conversation with my friend, and it's why, because I told my friend I'm not gonna stay here, so I don't see the point of starting a new friendship when I'm gonna leave. And my friend was telling me, it's fine, you don't have to be best friends with these people you meet. You could just be, you never know what these people could bring into your life. Just give people a chance, go out there and meet people. And I always feel like people are going to leave, so what's the point of starting anything new? So I'm like, I'll just stick. And this is why too, like I've in the past I've forced friendships, trying to and also because you already know so much about me, so you can't leave, you just have to stay with me. You know what I mean? But I feel like I've held on to friendships when I shouldn't have, when I should have just let it go naturally. But it's because it's like, it's just the change. I don't like change. I don't do well with changes. So that's one of the problems for me. But yeah, it's because I'm just scared, and yeah, that's really why I don't like making new friends. I'm just scared, and I just don't know the person's attention. Like, I know myself, I know who I am, but I don't know that person. But then I won't know that person unless I give them a chance, And also because, as a Christian, I've learned to trust God. And if I trust God, that's fine. You don't have to trust people, but if you trust God, it's all set, because God will be sure to place the right people in your life. As long as you give God that trust, you give him permission, you don't have to worry about it. This is what I've learned, and this is what I go by now. Like, I don't trust people, but I trust God. So I trust that whoever he placed in my life is for a good reason. It's for me to learn something, or for them to teach me something, whatever it is. So I trust God. So now I'm more open to making new friends, and I've made some really great friends, to be honest with you. Not even in person, on social media. You wouldn't even believe it. As I mentioned earlier, I have my phone with me because I took some notes. I actually made these notes while I was at work, and I was just typing, and every time something came up to my mind, and I just started typing it. So I have my notes. Thank God for notes. And I hope nobody ever reads my notes, ever. I want to start with a scripture. It's 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. I want to start with this, and I'm a Christian. I think I already said that, and you know that by now. You know that. But even though I'm a Christian, I didn't start really reading the Bible until 2022. That's when I started reading the Bible and like understanding it for myself and stuff. So. But yeah, the Bible teaches you how to make friends, the type of friends you should make anyways. So if you read the Bible, you'll know what to look for and the type of friends, the type of company you want to have in your life. And I, as much as I'd hate to admit it, I will say that in some ways I can be easily influenced in a way. I am very, what's the word? Suggestible. I hate to admit it, but I am, unfortunately. I will say that. So, and for me, because of that, it will be easier for me to just follow someone. I'm not like that anymore. I will say God has did his work on me. I'm more of a person now that I know exactly who I am, what I want in life. So I will stand by 10 toes down if I don't want to be involved in something, if I don't want to do something, if I don't agree with something. So I will say that now. But before, I've always felt like I had to agree with everyone and I had to follow what everybody does. And, looking back now, and I feel a little disgusted with myself, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's just me, unfortunately. And I it's something that I would say I didn't like about myself. I didn't like about myself at all. There's beauty in making new friends. I've learned and I've grown. I've adapted, I've adjusted, I've moved to different cities. I've met so many new people that really has inspired me. That has changed my point of view. And all of that has shaped me too. All of that has shaped me to be the person that I am today, to be the woman that I am today, to be honest with you. One of the things that I look for when making new friends is values. You have to know your values. For me, one of my biggest value is faith, and this is something I've learned that this is something actually I've made the choice that I will never compromise. Like I will not. I will say hello to you. I can be your acquaintance. I can be your colleague or whatever it is, but me and you will never be friends if we do not have the same faith. We cannot be friends. And for friends, I mean like you have my personal number. I have your personal number. You can call me anytime, whenever, to help you, to laugh, to cry, whatever. This is what I mean when I say friends, and not just a random person, just a friend, because people use that term very loosely nowadays. But this is what I mean by friend, like someone that I trust and someone that also trusts me. So if we don't have the same values, the same faith, I can't be friends with you. And you know why I say that? Because first of all, the Bible says that too. Because one thing that I learned during my journey, one of my closest friends, as I'm going through this journey, I'm finding myself, I'm making a relationship with God, and this has become my most important, my priority, right? So I remember, and I was just very fresh, I was very new, lukewarm. I think, am I still lukewarm? I don't know, I don't think I am. But what I learned, so during that time I was very new. So me and my friends, we always talked about palm reading. And as a Christian, someone who grew up in the church, I always knew it was wrong. But also, if someone did it, and like someone can easily convince me to do it, and that was the problem with me. We always talked about it, and we would say that how scared we are, we shouldn't be doing it, blah blah blah. And then one time my friend did it, and she told me about it, and I'm like, and one day, the way I did that palm reading, you guys, I am going to sound a little crazy, but I promise you I am not crazy. I am not insane at all. But let me tell you how that happened. I had just gotten a job, and I was going to do fingerprinting because I work in human resource services. When you work in human services, you have to do fingerprint and everything. So I went to do fingerprint for that job. And I was driving. And sometimes when you keep seeing the numbers like 555, 444, 333, all these repeating numbers, you will see them anywhere. Like you buy groceries and the receipt will just be $55.55. You will be popping gas, it's like $3.30. Like it's just some random, it's weird. So this was happening to me as I was driving to that place to go. And I kept seeing the numbers, and I called my friend. That time I was getting ready to move to California, and I was not sure whether I wanted to move or not. I was very skeptical. I didn't really want to go, and I just wasn't sure. So, and I didn't pray about it because I didn't know any better. So, as I was driving, and I was seeing the numbers, and I called my friend who had gone get her palm read. So I called and I was telling her, I'm like, girl, I keep seeing these numbers, and she was on FaceTime with me. I kept seeing these numbers, and then I said, if I see that number one time again, I'm gonna go. I wasn't counting, but I will tell you that I see those numbers on the car license, on the driver's plate, at least 5 times. And the last time when I said that, and then as I was going my way, I made the wrong turn. I think I turned right when I wasn't supposed to. And then I tried to make another turn to go back to my way. When I turned around, I remember I made a left turn, and I kid you not, the car in front of me was 555. And I was like, okay, fine, I am going. So I went and got my plum read. And the lady was telling me all these things. And then I'm not gonna lie to you, and I think even though I went there, what saved me honestly is because I knew deep down that it wasn't. Like I knew deep down like this, only God could really tell you the future, because that's what I grew up with. That's what I know. That's what I believe in. Even I do some things, when I say something, sometimes I feel some way, but I know deep down the truth. And that's what saved me, because deep down I knew the truth. So, the lady was telling me, go ahead and, and I told her that I was a little skeptical. I wasn't sure about moving to California, and I wanted to move, and this is the reason why, blah, blah, blah. And she was telling me, the spirit guide says I could do it. Go ahead and do it. And then I remember I asked a question about my YouTube channel, and I was like, I want to take my YouTube channel a different way, different route, and do different type of thing. And she was saying, the YouTube guide said, do your channel, do whatever you want with your YouTube channel, whatever you want, And I left, to be honest with you, I wasn't really sure. I didn't really believe it 100%. But I remember I left that time, and I told my friend about it, and I was telling my friend, I'm like, yo, now looking back now, the devil drove me to that place, to that point. You guys, I kept seeing the numbers. I kept seeing them every time. It sounds insane, and I promise you that I am not. And I've shared this with my friend, a couple of my friends, but that was it. I kid you not. I swear to you. My friend was on FaceTime with me the whole time. I swear to you, I was seeing these numbers. Every time I look at a car, the license plate was a number, 333, 222, 444, 555, every time. And then to the point where I said, if I see one again, I'm going to get my palm read. Oh, this is a sign. This is what I kept telling myself, this is a sign. And I was seeing those numbers all the time, to a point where I was writing them down. I was trying to figure out what they meant. Oh my gosh, I get goosebumps saying all that. Trying to figure out what they meant and all of that. So I'm saying all of this to say, to go back to values, right? So, and that's now, and now after all this I've given my life to Christ, I was reborn again and living a better life, a good life, and one time when I was in Maryland, my friend had done what is it called, hypnosis therapy. So she told me about it, and she was telling me about it, and she wasn't trying to encourage me to go do it. And I was already in my place in my life where I was praying to God. I was still struggling, and I was in the right path. This is why I was in the right path. I was trying to find God. But was I struggle emotionally? Yes, I was. So my friend called me and trying to tell me, and she was telling me she did it, her mom did it, and all of that. And and I was thinking, I don't want to do that. And I remember my friend felt offended when I started sharing scriptures with her. And I would share sermons that I watched on YouTube. I would send them to her and all of that. And then, she felt offended. But then I'm thinking, wait, so I can't share that with you. You feel offended by that. But then you could try to encourage me to do hypnosis, and knowing that I don't believe in that stuff. They're going to put you to sleep and telling you, you're going to see yourself in your past life, and someone's going to tell you what you were in your past life. I don't believe in that. And this is why I said values, know your values. And so values, belief, religious values, make sure you got to have that. well, even if, let's say you don't believe in anything at all, you know, I hope that you do. Because to me, if you don't believe in anything at all, that's just pure laziness. Because you're going to look at the world and say, yeah, there's no God, nothing exists. It would just like, that's just weird. Anyways, but yeah, so make sure to look for values. Don't just be with someone who has no values, because someone who's not going to judge you. Like sometimes some things happen, you know, I have a friend I talk to all the time. I have a few friends I talk to all the time, especially when it comes to God, like my career and stuff and other things we talk. And you know, those people are able to pray with you. Like when I'm going through things, sometimes I call my friends and I'm like crying and they're like, you know, I'm gonna pray with you. I'm gonna do this with you. Like, I can't do that with just anybody. It's gotta be certain friends. So be sure to look for that. If you're someone who has a relationship with God, you know who you are, what you want to be sure to look for values. Be sure to put your values first. Your faith values. Put that first. And the next one is loyalty. Is loyalty important to you? Ask yourself that question. Are you someone, you don't care if your friend, you just, you know, someone's talking about you, bad about you, or did something to you and your friend just stay there and not backing you up? Are you someone like that? Like, does that matter to you? Look for that. Because for me, I love loyalty. I'm the type of person, I am very loyal to my people. I am a very loyal person, I will tell you that much. So I look for that. So I'm not going to be friends with just anybody who doesn't appreciate loyalty, who doesn't understand what loyalty is. Because I've been friends with people who, you know, they're loyal only to themselves, but they swear they have the best intention. I don't see how that works out, but be sure to pay attention. If that's something that matters to you, ask your friends, ask the people you meet, try to have conversation. Don't even ask them straight up, like, how do they think about loyalty, but figure it out, have conversation with them, and see, you will figure out where that person stands. And people will eventually tell you about themselves. Eventually they will. And the next one is growth. Growth for me as a person, and now my 30s, early 30s, growth is important because you cannot be the same person that you were 10 years ago. You could still be, you shouldn't even be the person you were a year ago, you know, because you grow, you learn, things happen. A lot of things happen, so you have to grow. Look for people, like be friends with, when I'm making friends right now, I look for people, I try to see what they are going to be, who they're going to be in the next 10 years, you know? So I'm not going to be just friends with someone that 10 years from now is just going to be the same way. Like, no. 10 years from now, my goal is to be closer to God, to have a better relationship with God, you know, to have a home, a beautiful big home, to have a nice career, to have a family, all of that. So this is growth for me, to be, you know, to be at peace, to have joy, to have my family, you know, so much. So all these things are growth. And for me, it's also to, like, you know, to not be so reactive to people, to be nicer, to be kinder to other people, to be more respectful. You know, this is what I want for me. So like for me now, maybe now I get upset so easily. I don't want to be the same person 10 years from now. I want to be better. So surround yourself with people who want that same thing. To be friends with people that are responsible. You know, I would say that I am pretty responsible. And I don't mind being held accountable for my wrongs. It doesn't feel good. I can't say that it feels good. I don't want to say that. But, you know, I will take accountability when I have to and apologize when I need to. And you want to be friends with people like that, you know, because you don't want to be friends with people who are not responsible. You know, you can't call them out when they do something, whether it's to you or to somebody else. You can't call them out. Or let's say, you know, they're not dependable. You can't depend on them for anything. So you don't want to be friends with people like that in that age. You don't, you know. You could make those friends in your teens, in your 20s, honestly, early 20s. And yeah, but you don't need those people in your life anymore, because at the end of the day, we grow older and we need each other. We need people in our lives. We absolutely do need each other in our lives. And the next one I look for is consideration. And this is something I will say that I am new to. I am learning. And I will say that I've realized that in the past 6 months. Exactly 6 months, honestly. I've always been a compassionate person, but I wasn't always considerate. And I would say that I've become this type of this person because I lost my little cousin a few months ago, and he was my baby, my absolute baby, my favorite person. And I realized I don't want to cry. This is why I think I was so scared to do my YouTube videos, because I don't want to, like, subject like this who, like, obviously hurt me, and I didn't want to, like, I don't want to cry, but I'm not someone that I cry all the time. But he passed away, and I remember, I tried to remember, like, you know, my memories with him, and I remember, and the things I could remember is how he made me feel as a person, and I also wondered how I made him feel as a person. And I realized that I want to be considerate. I realized that I wanted to live with intention. I realized that I wanted to be a good person, and I prayed and I asked God every day to just, please humble me every time. Humble me every time. Please guide me. Please check me every single time. Because I realized that you don't have that much time on this earth. And what's important in this life is how you really, one of the things that's important is how you make other people feel. And this is what people are going to remember. People may not remember the things that you did for them, the things that you gave them, but they will remember how you made them feel. Okay? They will remember that. And I will say, you know, this kid, he brought us all of us joy and love, and I love him. I will always do. I will always do. And, you know, and this is all the things that I think about. And I you know, I realized that I wanted to be nicer. And I hate that this is how I realized that I wanted to be the type of person. But honestly, I realized that I want to be more considerate of each other people's feeling. I started watching my mouth when I speak. I thought about things when I say things, when I do things, because I didn't want to hurt other people. Yeah, but I didn't even want to talk about this like that, but I don't know how I got to this. I didn't think I was going to get emotional. But yeah, I realized that I want to be considerate of this feeling. I try to be less reactive, because it just sucks. Because you never know what people are going through. And I remember during that time, people were actually mean to us. They didn't know that what we were going through, my family, they didn't know. But people were just so mean, straight up mean. I remember we went to pick up my cousin's car. You know, just a few days ago, the kid passed away. We were trying to pick up his car. And this lady at the place, she was so mean. She was so mean. And the whole time I'm trying to stay, you know, I kept my calm, and I was trying, because my cousin, the other one, his older brother just passed away, right? So I'm trying to keep him cool. I'm trying to keep him in check, because I'm like, yes, you are going through so much right now, unimaginable pain, but I need you to keep your cool. Because, and then it's really hard to, like, as a black person, it's hard for me to not put race into things, because there was no other reason for this lady to treat us the way she was treating us. She was a white woman. For the way she was treating us, there was no reason for her to be so mean to us. She was just so mean. She was just so nasty, so mean, so rude, you guys. And I remember, and I'm like, and I told my cousin too, and I know she heard. Now, listen, you don't know what she's going through. I know what you're going through. You have a reason to be upset right now, but I want you to keep your cool. I want you to keep your mind, your calm. I want you to be able to control your emotions. I said that right in front of her to my cousin. I'm like, you don't know. I'm like, I know exactly what you're going through. I know you just lost your big brother. I know that. Your best friend. But I still want you to control your emotions, control yourself. Her, you don't know what she's going through. We don't know. If she's acting like this to us, let her be. We don't know her life. And then, you know, I just said that in front of her to my cousin, because he was getting frustrated, and understandably, because it wasn't even that big of a deal. She was just so nasty. She was just so mean. And it was like, I couldn't think of anything else, because we were so kind. And I'm the type of, anyone who knows me in person knows that I'm someone I'm very calm. I am not someone, I'm not confrontational. I don't yell. I don't argue. I don't do any of that. So anyone who knows me personally, anyone who's met me knows who I am. Like, I am not someone who, I'm always cool. I'm always calm. I'm always the one that's like, let's walk away. That's who I am, because that's just easier for me. I just don't have time. I don't have it in me to, I'm not a fighter. I don't have time for all that. It's not how I grew up. So I stand up for myself. I defend myself, but I don't waste my time on like little petty things that could lead into bigger things. I observe a situation and I'm like, you know what, let me just walk away. Because sometimes there are people in life who has nothing to lose. They will just fight with anybody and everybody. I have things to lose. Well, not really things, but I have family that I love very much. I have friends and family, especially my family, I love very much, and have little cousins, little siblings that I don't want them to be embarrassed. Like, I would be embarrassed if someone in my family acts certain ways in public. Like, so I don't want to. I respect them so much that I don't want to do certain things in public. But this is just to say, consideration is something that I've learned that is very important to me. I'm learning to be very careful with what I do to people, what I say to people, because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I'm realizing I don't want to do that. So that's something I am looking for when I'm making new friends. I just want to make sure that, I want to be friends with someone who's not just going to say anything to me and be like, I'm just being honest. No, you could still be honest and be kind. You could still be honest and be kind and be respectful. You could still do that while being honest. You don't have to be brutal. Honesty is not always brutal. We just made it so normal, but it's not. And people use that to be mean to other people, and it's not fair. Honesty is actually a beautiful thing. If you are kind to people, and people are not always receptive, or not always going to be receptive, but you don't have to be mean to be honest. So, yeah, that's very important to me. Okay, the next one I have is complain. Be careful with the type of people you are friends with. And I will tell you this as someone who used to complain all the time. I actually did used to complain. I wasn't always like that, but I will tell you that, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm someone who's, I guess I'm a bit of a follower or is easily influenced. But I remember I was friends with somebody that would always complain about everything and everything. And I complained too. And I was really doing it because I was just trying to be cool. And let me tell you, one time I remember my friend was working and she was complaining about work, and then she said, I like you because my other friend, she doesn't like when I complain, and you don't care when you complain as well. And this whole time I hated that that she was complaining all the time. I hated that. Sometimes I was like, girl, you're always complaining. I hated that. But then I realized, I'm like, damn, I don't want to be that friend, but I also don't want to be the friend that's like calling people out, oh, stop complaining. People can vent sometimes here and there, but I realized I don't want to complain. And ever since I saw this, someone posted on Instagram, I forgot what scripture it is, but I know it's Jeremiah. God doesn't like you to complain. So every time I'm like, I try to correct my mouth. I'm like, nope, I am not complaining. I don't want to complain. God says no to complain. So I remind myself not to complain. Be content. Appreciate what I have. Look around of what I have and zip it. So be careful, because if you're friends with people who complain all the time, you're going to end up complaining too. And if you're not someone who likes to complain, the minute you found them to complain all the time, you're not going to be friends with them. Don't be friends. I don't want to be complaining buddies. I don't want to do that. I'm way too old for that. Like, no. Life is tough. Like Candace Owens says, wear a helmet, I think. These are the things that I just shared with you guys that I'm looking for in making new friends in my 30s, and I hope you could use these tips as well. The first one I mentioned with you guys was faith, and I wanted to add a little bit more to it. And I just wanted to say, if this is something that is important to you, be sure to make it your priority, because faith is such an amazing thing, and faith is what you need to survive in this world, to live in life. You can't live without faith. You really have to have faith, whether it's in something or in God, and my faith is in Jesus Christ. So this is what really keeps me going, because sometimes I wake up and it's just so hard, and I call my friends, and then they would tell me so many things, and I've just, all of a sudden I have hope again. I have faith again. This is why I need this type of people to be my friends. I called one of my friends. I was talking to her. We were talking about the same thing we talked about last year, and I was, crying, and I was telling her how I felt so stuck in my life. I felt so disappointed in myself. I was feeling a lot of ways. And then she was praying. She prayed with me. She talked to me. She explained to me. She went through a hard time as well, and she explained how she went through a hard time and how she's where she is now. And it's not everybody I can talk to like that. It's not every friend. I probably, friends that I've had in the past, if I called them, they wouldn't be able to pray with me like that, or give me these tips and give me that new hope. They wouldn't be able to share that with me. So it's important for me that I am friends with people who have faith, who their faith is important to them, and and their faith is in Jesus Christ. Because life is hard. Life is hard for all of us. And just when you think your life is hard, trust me, someone has it harder than you. Way harder than you. And I will always tell you, people has it way harder than me because I have God. Because I can't imagine living this life and not have God, not have someone to go to when you're going through things like yesterday or the other day, I was just going through it out of nowhere. I was just going through it, and I just went in my closet, because that's why I pray. I went in my closet and I just sat there, and I was in God's presence. I felt it, and I felt better. The next day I woke up better. But I could have just called my friends, and they would have prayed with me. They would have talked to me, tell me the things that I need to hear. They would have shared their wisdom with me, and and that's important to me. That's very important to me. And I've made some great friends, honestly, on social media. I'm not even gonna lie to you. On social media, I've made some really amazing friends. Like, I can actually call them friends. And you wanna know the craziest thing about it? 2 of them I've never met in person. Yeah. We've just been friends on social media for years, and we talk all the time on the phone, and we share intimate stuff, I cried to them, and they share their stories with me. It's amazing sometimes. Social media is amazing, but if you want it to be amazing for you, it will be. It's really your choice. It could break you or make you. Anyways, I feel like this video is long, but you guys, this is all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and also share with me some tips that you are using yourself to make friends in your whatever age that you are in. And tell me what you look for. Leave a comment for me below, because obviously I need some advice as well. This is what I use to make new friends. I've made some really good friends in Dallas, and it's weird because some of the people that I've met here are also from Boston. Had we all still been in Boston, we wouldn't have met each other. It's so funny how things works. But yeah, let me know in the comment if you made it this far. I would like for you to leave a peace emoji. Okay, also just let me know what you yourself are using to make new friends, some tips, some advice. What do you do? Help me out. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.